All right. Welcome back, everyone. Just want to check, quick tech check. Can you guys hear me? See us all right? Hear me okay? Throw a quick thumbs up in the chat if you can. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, let's get comfortable. Awesome. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to another Build Your Presence webinar. These are fun Thursdays. I like these ones. Join us today for what promises to be an enlightening one. We're here to show you how you can increase your website's conversion rate without sacrificing luxury design. Sometimes it can be a challenging balance to strike, but very doable. And so I wanted to introduce my friend Isabella Savini. She's a very special guest today, a virtuoso in her field, renowned for her strategic collaborations with some of the country's top real estate agents, teams, brokerages, enhancing their brand identity, their digital presence. Isabella is a seasoned creative, a maestro of harmonizing visual aesthetics and user experience. One of the things I really admire about Isabella is her unique approach. Like, she listens, she learns, and kind of leverages knowledge from whoever she's working with to innovate and lead and carving a niche for herself and for those fortunate enough to work with her. And now, before we dive into the heart of the discussion, Isabella has graciously agreed to share one interesting fact about herself that you might not find on her resume. So over to you, Isabella.
Thank you, Bali. I'm honored. I'm excited to be here with you all today. One interesting fact, I didn't have to dig too deep for this one. I am a new dog mom. So I have her sitting on my lap right now. She is 24/7, and any and all tips you guys have, I'm here for it. After I go through the demo, of course, but that's consuming my life right now. So that's my interesting fact.
Hey, puppies are they're a handful. I got mine sitting right there on the poof. You can't see him. He's blending into the background, but he's right there. Congrats though. Didn't know that.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well, here's the agenda for today. I wanted to help you guys understand why conversion rates matter, and how they can be utilized for your real estate success. Don't worry, we'll keep it clear and straightforward and as simple as possible. Quick intro, the conversion rates, the importance of them, the live demo, the impact of the strategies cumulatively, how it could all kind of impact your success. And then we'll just try and have a bit of a Q&A session at the end and chat with you guys and see if we can answer any questions. But let's begin with trying to understand what is a conversion rate if you guys don't already know, and what it means for your real estate website. So conversion rate is the number, it's the percentage of website visitors who take specific actions that you want them to take on the site. So typically it's things like filling out a contact form or signing up for a newsletter. It's like having it's like a scorecard almost for your website's performance. So the higher the conversion rate number, the better your website engages visitors and turns them into potential clients. So it's an important number to have. And this percentage is a key performance indicator for your website. So that means by continually monitoring and improving that conversion rate number, you gain valuable insights into what works and what doesn't. We want to try and take emotion and opinion out of this as much as possible. Make data-driven decisions to find areas of improvement. I mean, we all have our intuition. We all kind of know what looks nice and stuff. But I'm just going to go back to when I was running ads as a real estate agent, and I didn't like emojis in my copy, but found out that adding emojis seemed to work for my market. So I kept them in there, and that was down to data, and that was just telling me what was working, what wasn't. But here's the exciting part. Improving that conversion rate directly impacts your business growth and revenue. So we want to do that. A higher conversion rate means more potential clients interested in your services and working with you. And if your website's a house, just think of it like a house. Like it's like having a steady stream of qualified leads just knocking at the door. It's a numbers game at the end of the day. So if there's more people knocking at the door, that's more engaged prospects, and the chances of those successful deals goes up, and so does business growth and the money you're making. kind of put these images here of some people at the house. And, these, to boost this conversion rate number, you have to adopt a user-centric approach to design. Always remember what's in it for them. Having a pretty site doesn't mean that they care that you have a pretty site. If we use the house analogy again, imagine your site as this sort of like warm, welcoming space where potential clients can feel comfortable and valued. And no one knows your ideal client better than you do, to be honest. So you know what they want, you know what they're after, and your website has to be intuitive, user-friendly, tailored to your ideal clients. And if you prioritize this part of it, the user experience part, you build that trust and credibility, and you're more likely to get those people to explore and interact and click around to different pages and press the buttons. That's what we want them to do. We want them to fill out the form. We want them to give you some information. The thing is, you guys already know that building trust and credibility is the cornerstone of successful real estate. I mean, it's a given. I don't have to repeat it, but it's your foundation. It's the professional reputation that we want to make sure that people recognize. And the thing is, if you see some people that don't know you yet, or people coming to your website and they don't know your brand, or they're new to your brand, if they feel confident in your expertise and authenticity, and you have something that they want, then they're more likely to take the next step, and they won't hesitate to give their contact details. And the thing is, most of the people that are coming to your website, in all honesty, they don't know your brand yet. So we still have to nurture that. We still have to build it. And look, we know it's a ridiculously competitive world out there, and the online world is fierce. I mean, this is back home in London, train station. This is what I picture when I'm online and I'm seeing all these agents with all their websites and stuff online. It's everyone has a brilliant website. It's so competitive. So how do you stand out? I mean, you have a beautiful site, so does your competition. Then having a higher conversion rate will give you that leg up on them. If everything is working nicely together, their beautiful site won't mean much if yours is the one that's converting. So if you manage to get a lot of eyes on your site, with ads or great SEO, you're getting a lot of traffic to your site, then having a high conversion rate, just make sure that you get the most out of your website traffic and actually turn them into real conversations. Done right, your website is the most powerful weapon in this market. It's your hub, it's your HQ for your whole business, and all the things that you're doing online, Instagram, social ads, everything should be pointing back to your website, where you can then convert them and turn them into a real conversation. Now, striking a balance between luxury design and conversion optimization, that's the kicker, right? But there's loads of websites out there that are built from the ground up to convert, but they just look terrible. And vice versa. There's the websites that look amazing. There's lots of motion and things happening, and they're just not that good at converting you, or giving up their details. So Isabella's going to show us how we can achieve both, with thoughtful design strategies and picking elements and putting them in the right places. You don't have to compromise on aesthetics for results. We want your website to be a beautiful showcase and the best first impression that also effectively guides people and visitors to take an action. So by thoughtfully adding these conversion-focused elements into your elegant design, you're elevating your website's appeal without compromising on the functionality and performance. So that was my quick spiel on why conversion rates are important. Like, I hope I didn't put you guys to sleep with all that. I just needed to lay the groundwork so you can understand the importance of this number and why we want it to be higher. So let's hand it over to our design guru, Isabella. You can give us a bit of a demo of these tactics in action. You want to share your screen, Isabella?
Yes, please. All right. I will bring it up here. Okay, so we're going to start with the golden real estate group here. And as Bali said, one of the biggest challenges everyone faces when designing a website, regardless of the industry, is that balance of design and performance. And so often people will feel like they have to choose one or the other, and sacrifice design and that luxury look and feel in order to convert leads. So what we're going to do in the next 20 minutes is totally debunk that myth and show you exactly how you can achieve both, and exactly how you can actually implement it on your own website right now, right after this call. Really, really quick and easy methods to convert those leads and make your website really work for you. So going into the Golden Real Estate Group here, we instantly, from landing on the homepage, are already building that credibility that Bali talked about. That's so important, that people really need to see if they haven't heard of you before. Before you can ask them for information, you really need to make sure that they trust you. So this stats element here is something that you can use any agent, whether you're starting out, whether you're 10 years into the business, you can really tailor these stats to play up your advantage and what you kind of bring to the table. And now going down the page a little bit further, this is one of my favorite sections to incorporate on a website. This is what we call our gallery style menu. Reason being, it really artfully incorporates imagery into kind of creating that funnel and driving people to different pages on your website based on what they're coming here for. So
can you scroll that up a second again? That was a really nice little motion there. The sell my home, buy a home, it's all together. That's the first time I've seen that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're using the parallax effect here. And so this allows the text to scroll really nicely over the image. And what that does is just kind of help to bring a little more depth, engage the user a little bit more, but still make sure, and when I picked this image, I wanted to make sure that you weren't kind of compromising the legibility of the text. It was still very clear. You're still able to really drive the user towards these pages, but you're complementing it. And so that's really what we mean by kind of combining design and performance here. With this gallery style menu, this is something that is available across all luxury presence designs, regardless of what you choose. So this is something you could absolutely implement today. And with this, we want to really emphasize that compelling CTAs here. So language that should be engaging, direct, and actionable. So here for Sell My Home, really the page we're driving users to is our home valuation tool. But instead of just saying home valuation, that's more of a noun and doesn't really drive any action, we're going to say sell my home, bringing that personal aspect, that actionable task into it. Same here with the second tile, buy a home. This is going to our home search tool, allowing users to search the MLS. Instead of just saying home search, that feels a little bit more flat. Buy a home really kind of pushes them into what's that action that they want to take and immediately brings them there. One thing that Bali brought up was how we incorporated this image. So we don't want to compromise on design here. We don't just want to have 3 links that feel flat. We're really engaging the user, catching their eye with this animation that we've added. And especially even on hover here, how you have that upward motion, you're able to add that black and white touch to really drive people towards and highlight these call to actions.
Love that. The way it kind of just pops up over the mountains too is pretty sick.
I know, it's nice. It looks cool. All right, now the second strategy that I want to dive into is offering downloadable lead magnets. So this is a great way to implement a downloadable lead magnet that doesn't feel like you're instantly just saying, here's a form, please fill it out. You want to offer them kind of value, you want to offer them content and social proof. So what we talked about above with implementing those stats, this is another way to implement that social proof or just proof of the success that you've had. So prior to asking for information, we're establishing trust. We're showing, oh yeah, I've sold a $2 million house. Here are the images that I've taken. I've staged the house and really showing them what you're giving prior to asking for their information. So here, when you go ahead and click on this download our seller's guide, it's going to bring up a pop-up, a modal, whatever you want to call it. And this is now where once we've engaged them and once we've shown them what we can offer, now we're going to ask for their information. So here, if we go ahead and fill this out, and I'll just put in my information right here. And then we select our selling timeline too. So you can tailor this to really understand questions that you want to get from your clients. So here, let's select next 6 months and we'll hit submit. I had to allow downloads there. And when it does that download, we're also able to trigger this submission redirect. And so we know the person that clicked on that and entered their information is interested in our selling process. We know they're interested in potentially selling a home with us, and we've captured that information. We can even take it a step further here by redirecting them to our home valuation tool, bringing them further into the pipeline, and then prompting them to get that home valuation. Here, we could go ahead and enter our property address. And if we click continue, we'll again be prompted to provide this information that's already been provided prior, but we can enter it again here and then get my valuation. And so this is not going to provide them with an instant home valuation. This is just going to give that lead in the dashboard and then allow you as the agent to reach out and provide them a valuation based on your expertise. So now by following this flow, what we've done is collected the potential seller's name, their email, their phone number, the timeline that they're looking to sell, which is critical to make sure it's worth your time to invest right now, and the address of their property. So now you're able to conduct an extremely personalized outreach and really make sure that these are people who are really looking to sell their home with you. They've gone through this whole funnel, and now you've ended up with a really strong lead that you can act on. Now, going back to our homepage here, I want to scroll down a touch more. Now, here again, it's worth calling out social proof just interspersed throughout the website is going to really help drive that credibility and just kind of set up your user to understand the transactions that you've done and how you've helped other people right here. So just making it not super pushy, kind of interspersing it throughout the website. And then when we get down here to our property slider, you're going to see one property here that is typically how you would see it represented on a website. You'll see the address, price, bed, bath, square foot, and the listing. And here, what we have is what we offer is our property password protected listing pages. And so you're not able to see just yet all of the information about the property. Instead, you actually are prompted to either call for the address, or when you hover, you can click view property here, and you'll be taken to this password protected listing page. And so if, say, you set this up for an off-market listing and you had already been in contact with a potential buyer, you could have just already given them the password that you've created. And I'm going to go actually into the back end in a second and show you just how simple this is to set up. Or you're able to generate those leads and convert those leads by asking someone who's just curious about what you have in your active listings to fill out their information. When you hit continue here, and I'll go through the steps. Oh, just my first name there.
And then can you change, like, does all of that information have to be inputted, or like, is it like mandatory with those fields, or can you change like what's mandatory and what isn't?
These
Probably,
ones here are mandatory. Yeah. So we have the stars here that indicate that. And that's just what we've determined is like the bare minimum in order to provide the agent with enough to reach out and kind of get in contact with whoever is inquiring. And if we hit continue here, you'll get this success page where it says, we appreciate your interest. One of our agents will be in touch soon. And so that way this will become a lead in the dashboard, and they'll be able, or you guys will be able to act on it in the back end, reach out, provide them with that password, which will allow them to look at the listing if that makes sense.
Thank you pages are that's another like great opportunity to like send people somewhere else, right? You've got the information, but you just want to keep giving them value. Throw another link in there, send them to a blog or your social media or something so they can keep clicking around and exploring. Great opportunity to do that. Exactly.
And like I said, I wanted to show you guys just how simple it is to set this up. So I went into my dashboard here. I went into our content CMS, and then I'm going to go to the properties tab. I'm going to go ahead and go to and filter for our for sale properties. And you can see here, this modern Denver estate, that was the one that was, if we go back to the site here, password protected right there. And then if I go back here, let's go ahead and put a password on this Modern Mountain Chateau. So we're going to scroll down a little bit. Right under MLS listing ID, you'll see a password. And I'm going to go ahead and just do luxury presence. I probably did not spell that right. Let's give that. All right, and then we're just going to go ahead and click save. And once you've entered that password, the system will automatically recognize that you want to password protect that listing. Sometimes it does need to just render a little bit, but it would end up showing up just like this right here, where you're going to be prompted to go to the password protected listing page to inquire for more information there. One thing while this pop-up is here that I wanted to go into is that this is another excellent opportunity to convert people in a really subtle way that most users don't even think about. And it's probably been enabled. It's not just a real estate thing. It's on all other websites. If you're on Apple, if you're on any other website, they've enabled this Google one-tap sign-in. And what it allows you to do is if you go ahead and click continue here, I think it's going to bring it up in another window for me. But I'll be able to just sign in, and it went away like that. All I had to do was click my Gmail that I wanted to sign in with, and that's already going to register as a lead in the dashboard. So if we go here to your leads, I actually submitted this one just now, and that one came in. Google sign in from this page 39 minutes ago when I was testing this prior. So you'll see that Google sign in and you'll be able to get all of this information. You'll get their email, their name, and you'll be able to act on that just because they went ahead and signed in on your page. So that's another great way to be able to convert those leads.
The thing is, there's Google sign-ons. Why they're so important is most people are already signed in. They're already probably signed into the Google account or their Facebook, or the Facebook and Google are usually the main players. And so with online lead conversion being so, like, people give dummy details, and like even if they are a real person and you manage to get in touch with them, they're probably like, I didn't fill out any information or anything like that. So the thing with Google or these kind of like one-tap sign-ons is like you've got instant proof that it's a real email, it's a real person. And if they're not ready to buy or sell, that's besides the point. It's the fact that you got their details and you can put them on a bit of a lead nurture campaign. Or if they're not ready yet, they're going to be ready in 3 months, 6 months time. Just stay in touch with them. But the point is, you've got that email now. It's just a real one. So throw that into your database, and your database is your money. So just keep collecting it, keep building it. But it's like Isabella said, it just pops up, goes away with one click, and now you've got it, and they don't have to fill out anything. No forms, nothing. It's just one button. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to derail you there, but yeah.
No, it's great background because it truly is. It's so easy. And sometimes if people are just browsing and they're just curious and they're on your website, they may not kind of get pulled down that funnel that we went through before for a seller. They may be a little bit deterred, and they may say, oh, I don't want to give my entire email address and my phone number and everything. And so they may have just automatically, when they went on, instead of clicking out of that Google one tap, just one click, you sign in, and it just feels very seamless, and you already have their information. So it's a great way to capture those people who may be exploring, who may become potential leads and potential customers down the line that weren't ready to give you kind of their full details when you ask for it kind of within a website element like this. Now, the last one on this website that I want to show you guys here is this newsletter sign up form. And so by providing exclusive access to email signups and really working on copy here, we all know that copy is critical to conversion. And so by really kind of playing on it and leaning on the emotive words and phrases like exclusive off-market listings, first access, you're going to entice the user to fill out their information in exchange for these new to market or off-market opportunities. I can certainly say when I was looking for my next apartment, I wanted to know exactly what kind of the newest thing to market was before everyone jumped on it. And so by using these kinds of words and phrases, you're able to play on the emotions of the users that are coming to your website and really capture them and bring them in. So it's really that use of compelling CTAs that we talked about at the beginning, coupled with these forms, being able to kind of really bring in those leads and convert them. And so here, this one's a little bit more simplified and straightforward. We're saying name is in just one line, which can definitely, like, you don't want to have too many fields. If you have too many fields, you're going to scare people away. And so as simple as we can make this while still gathering the necessary information is what's going to be most effective in terms of converting your users. So here we're just asking for a quick email and your name, and then going ahead and clicking submit. Not going to take you through me submitting this one again, but something that Bali mentioned before when we were on the password protection is once you hit submit, that success message either redirecting you somewhere or providing another link to kind of keep you going down the funnel. So here, if you're really trying to bring in, this one is more so for buyers, right? New to market listings, off market listings versus the seller funnel that we were working through before. And so this one on submit, you could redirect it to the home search tool. You could redirect it to your active listings page. And so these are all different ways that you can just kind of keep acting on it and further what you're doing instead of just saying, okay, I got their email, that's great, but kind of see how much further you can bring them along and really provide them that value and put them where they're looking to go. One design call out that I did want to mention here is that we really opted to go for a very simplistic look. We decided to use a very simple kind of solid color background, a light color, not black and white, nothing too stark, but really just allow the text and the submit button to pop out. These are delicate fields here. They're not super easy to see. And so if you put this on an image background with parallax, which is something we did up here, and it worked nicely to be able to kind of frame the text. If we did something like that for this section, that might have made it a little bit more difficult for the user to be able to find the fields and go ahead and really submit their information there. So using this kind of minimal look also helps to further that sophisticated aesthetic. And so don't feel like imagery is so important that you have to flood your page with it, because you can also make it look really overwhelming. And so you want to kind of draw that balance between providing that beautiful high-res imagery, showing off the homes that you've staged, and also just making sure that the text stands out, there's enough contrast, and that you're actually able to drive the users to do what you're really wanting them to do, which is going to end up in those conversions. That sums it up for the specific strategies on this website. I did just want to kind of scroll you down here, and you can still see here's that home valuation we added to the home page even. So for sellers who want to get that home valuation, it's another tool that's available here. Blogs are another great way to just provide value and content to the user. So maybe by the time they get to the bottom of the home page, they didn't kind of fall for any of those conversions yet and didn't want to give you their information yet. You can provide them with more value. And these things are places where you can really demonstrate your expertise in the marketplace and really bring them in. And maybe further down the page, maybe they'll click on a blog, go down to the blog detail, and then end up converting somewhere much further down the road. And so if we scroll down here, we have more articles. And maybe we get to the bottom of that, and this is where we actually end up converting once we've provided that value. So that's just another way to kind of engage users on the homepage. We already talked about this Google One Tap, so I probably should have closed that to not be distracting a little while ago. But another one that I wanted to go to, and if we go back to the homepage here, you're going to see that keeps popping up because I didn't fully sign in yet. But once you do sign in, it will go away and it won't pop up again. So I probably should have just gone through that flow for you guys. Another one is using forced registration strategically. So and just to kind of show you the difference here, with this modal that we added in this pop-up, you are prompted to fill in your information, but for some reason, if you don't want to, there is the ability to click out and return to your place on the homepage and keep scrolling. So you're not necessarily trapped. If you don't want to go down that funnel, you aren't forced to. And so a lot of times there's this delicate balance between we want to gather that information, but if you're going to be stuck and if you're going to be forced to give information, sometimes people will just close out of it because they don't want another email. And so you need to be really strategic with where you're using that. And so one place that we've proven it to be really successful in actually gating that information is in our home search. So if we click on this, Let me bring this a little bit bigger here so we can see 2 rows. And so we're looking at our home search tool. We're in Denver and we're scrolling through these properties, and you can see a pretty good preview of this information. So by now I've decided that I'm interested in this beautiful $29 million home in Denver. If I go to click into it here, what we've done is we've enabled forced registration. And this is where you don't see that X, you don't see that ability to click out and to truly get all of the information on this property, to understand the past listing history, the property details, the property description. You are going to have to give some information to this website here. And so one way you can do this is kind of by going through that form like we did before, going through and adding your full name, creating a password, because this is detecting that I don't have, that I haven't been to this website before. If I have, you are able to go to log in and log into your already created account, or you can register through Google or through Facebook, which, like Bali was mentioning before, it's already authorizing that you are a credible person and it's a credible email, and it's one less step. You don't have to go through all of these fields. You can go ahead, enter your phone, sign in with Google, and that's it. And then you're in and you're able to get that information. And so when you're at this step of the process, you're kind of guessing that this definitely is someone that wants to see this property, that's really curious about the actual information. And so you're able to gate this with the knowledge that they're going to enter this most of the time. Now, last thing I wanted to touch on here, and I think I'm going to have to actually, we can't get out of this one. So I am going to have to back out and use my back arrow there. But last one I wanted to touch on was utilizing exit intent forms. Now, since I've been on this website for a while, it only triggers once, and I'm not going to be able to get that. Bali's going to show you a visual in the next frame when he pulls his screen back up. But the importance of those exit intent forms is really being able to kind of make that last effort. If someone brings their mouse near kind of the search bar or near another tab, like they're navigating away from the page, that ability to kind of grab them with, are you sure you want to leave, or be the first to know, there's interesting information here, enter your email, kind of bringing them back to the home search tool. There's a ton of different ways you could try to re-engage the user so that they don't leave just yet. I'm sure you've seen it on other industry websites. If you're shopping, here's 10% off. So there are a ton of other ways and kind of strategies that you can re-engage them prior to them leaving, which will help with your bounce rate and all of those other metrics and KPIs. Thank you guys so much. That wraps up my strategies there. Bali is going to show you guys what the exit intent modal looks like on pop-up, and I will pass it back to you.
Thanks, Isabella. Love that. Yeah, let me bring up the exit intent real quick. It's my favorite. Show you right here. Let it restart again. So it's basically, here's me scrolling. I'm gonna go up to the URL, the browser, the search bar at the top. And as I do that, the little pop-up comes up. The thing is, I've shown this in webinars before. The reason why it's so effective and why I like it is you've been, let's say you've been browsing around on the site, you've been exploring, you've got nothing to lose at this point. Like if somebody's trying to leave your website, they want to leave anyway. It's a last effort for you to try and capture their attention and give them something of value. And there's no, you can X out of it. There's nothing, like, we're not forcing them to do anything. It's just like, are you sure you want to leave? Like, here's a little bit extra something if you want it, a download, a guide, sign up to my newsletter for like off-market listings. It could be, like I said, your ideal client, so you know what they want at the end of the day. But the exit intent ones is a strategic use of these pop-ups, and then you can design it up however you want. And one thing about design, I can't remember who told me or where I saw it, but think about what you can take off versus what you can put on. Isabella mentioned minimal aesthetics on the newsletter form. Subtle colors, nothing too harsh and stuff like that. It's just, if you come at it from a minimal angle of like, what can I take off? What words can I remove and still get the same message? How can I make the letters or the characters in the button smaller or more engaging? You know what I mean? Like, what where am I trying to draw the eye? Is it to the words? Is it to the button? Is it to the form? Is it to the testimonial block of text? The less is more approach is usually better online. It's easier on the eye, and it just looks cleaner, looks more aesthetic. Versus the other way around of like, okay, let me add a button here, let me add some more words here, try and encourage people to sign up. It doesn't really work. And it kind of reduces that decision fatigue. If you have 3 buttons on your homepage versus 1 button, you're more likely to get somebody to press that 1 button than the 3. Like, people just get overwhelmed and just like, nah, I'm done. I'm going to go to Amazon or wherever. So it's let me move off of this screen right now. You guys are going to get dizzy. It's going to still keep going. So I'm going to just wrap this up real quick with benchmarks for different websites online and what conversion rates, different types of websites. Again, I'm going to start here with e-commerce sites, right? This is how it generally breaks down. It's very general, but it's something to keep in mind. E-commerce websites often have a very specific conversion goal, right? They're trying to make you buy something. So typically we see conversion rates in that sort of 1% to 2% range there. But lead gen websites, like real estate websites, they might experience higher conversion rates in the 2% to 5% range because of the nature of their goal. Like, we're not trying to get them to buy something. They're usually just submitting contact information rather than like making a purchase. So there's a little bit less friction. Like, people are more easy to give that up rather than their credit card details or something. And then conversion rates for like email subscriptions, like the newsletter sign up form that Isabella showed, or similar sort of low commitment actions might be even higher than that, potentially up into that 5-10% range. But that said, these are just averages, and lots of factors can influence conversion rates, like the design, the usability of your site, the quality of your traffic, the product or service that you're offering, and really the specific user journey that you've set up. Like, where are they coming from? Are they coming from an event? Are they coming from an ad? Did you meet them in Starbucks? You know what I mean? Like, there's different ways that they can reach a page on your website. So you want to make sure that it's set up correctly. So some businesses do achieve the average, like higher than average conversion rates, a lot higher than these numbers, especially if they have that sort of well-targeted audience and that compelling offer. I added this slide here of potential conversion rate improvements from some of the things that Isabella mentioned. So you can get a bit of an idea of, or a little bit of motivation on how you can get higher than the industry sort of benchmark. And these numbers here are kind of based on industry research, best practices, case studies around the web. And your actual results may vary depending on the different factors that I mentioned, like the performance, target audience, your overall marketing strategy. But every action that we take to optimize a website really is an investment in the growth of our business. And it's also sort of an exploration into what we can uncover that resonates with our audience and what drives them to take an action. I went through a little thought exercise here of like, what if I implemented all of these things that Isabella spoke about, and like, does it work if I add them all up? And does it become like, does my website just become this super high converting machine and my conversion rate goes up? Came to the conclusion that it doesn't really work like that. It's there's loads of things that kind of influence each other, and like, if you add one thing here and you add another thing there, they might interact with each other and they might throw the visitor off. These numbers basically come, when you do your testing and when you implement any of this, you always want to take a look at it and you want to just see what's working and what's not. And these numbers are just a general understanding of like, if I implemented a lead magnet, for example, 18% conversion rate done right versus the 2 to 5%. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's a little bit of a motivator there. But I wanted to show a quick example. Let's imagine our website gets around 500 visitors a month, right? Now, if your conversion rate is 2%, That's 10 leads per month off of 500 visitors. Now, what we boost that traffic to 5,000 visitors a month, let's say with like ads, or you've got incredible SEO or something, you're getting thousands of visitors per month, 5,000 visitors, and we keep that 2% conversion rate, you've now got 100 leads, right? Now let's increase that even more. Let's say we increase the conversion rate to like 5%. That's 250 potential customers. The power of optimizing both traffic and conversion rate is evident and incredibly exciting. I mean, we've gone from 2% to 5%, and you've got 150 more leads. Do you know what I mean? And from the same amount of visitors. So where do we start, right? I don't want to make this overwhelming for you guys, but we can consider all of these tactics. You can play this webinar back and repeat what Isabella shows you and try to implement it. But just remember that these don't operate in a vacuum. They interact, they influence each other, sometimes enhancing each other, sometimes creating friction. And it's not just about implementing the strategies, it's about understanding the sort of interplay and how they're connected. But with that in mind, let's focus on 3 tactics that give a balance. I came up with these 3 that are kind of the best bang for your buck in terms of effort and impact. Starting with this one. All right, Winston. Compelling CTAs. That a well-placed, well-designed CTA can be a game changer. It's having that CTA above the fold. That means visible without needing to scroll. Can increase the chances of your visitor clicking on it. Using persuasive language. Netflix has the best examples I've ever seen. Choose a button color that stands out. Stick to one primary CTA per page. Avoid that decision fatigue. The second one I came up with was lead magnets. So offering these downloadables like guides, or like a checklist or an invitation to an exclusive event. These can entice the visitors to share their email. The opt-in form for this should ideally be placed above the fold too, so they don't have to scroll, just for maximum visibility. And then the last one was that Google sign-on, either the one-tap sign-on or the forced registration. It's capturing the lead information in a way that reduces the risk of spam. And the nature of just online leads and conversion spam is, you're not going to be able to avoid it. So if you want to keep a clean, valuable database, implement some of this on your site, and you should generally see that your database just becomes a lot more effective. The verification through Google or Facebook, it just means that the emails and the details being submitted, they're tied to a real person. It's not just a bot or like some random email that just doesn't go anywhere. It's tied to a real person. So let's take a step back real quick and visualize how these tactics generally fit into the larger sort of sales funnel. See, at the top, we've got, let's say, you're running these kind of sophisticated ads, appealing ads, bringing traffic to your site, and it comes to a landing page, right? So you're already building awareness, you're building a little bit of interest there. The compelling CTA and the buttons and everything that you've done to make the design and performance effective guides the visitor to lead to that lead magnet or wherever you send them to, where they'll give you that information for that exclusive content. So now you have their email. You can nurture this relationship with personalized, high-value content, promote your listings, promote your services. And then when the visitor decides to take that next step, the easy verification options just make it, that you're dealing with a real person, and they can continue with that high-end experience. And they might not convert straight away. They might go to your landing page and then they might click around and go do other things, go to your Instagram or whatever, and then they might come back another day. But all the things that you put in place have hopefully instilled a bit more confidence and authenticity in them, that they're willing to give that information up. Each stage of the funnel represents an opportunity, basically, to improve. And just remember, it's not an additive effect. The different strategies enhance each other and they play off of each other. And while we want to increase that conversion rate, we have to keep an eye on other metrics too, like bounce rate, meaning do people come to your site and just leave immediately, or the time spent on the page or the site, or the average sort of customer like lifetime value. That's where, you know, Google Analytics and a lot of these kind of analytics tools try to give you that information so you can make decisions. But the thing is, if you're getting a lot of information, you don't know what to do with it, right? So this whole thing was to help you guys understand that the conversion rate number is a secret weapon. If there's anywhere you want to focus on improving a number, it's that number right there. I'm gonna finish up here on Netflix. I showed this in another webinar, but this is my favorite landing page by far ever. It's so well done. It's familiar feeling, simple. The design's perfect. The way they've used words, colors, motion. It's the perfect balance of everything in my eyes. And you know, this is Netflix's brand. Obviously, you will have your own brand, your own tone of voice. Implement it, put some personality into it. But if you just go to netflix.com and just explore and see how they've done things, see if you can try and replicate it and throw your own brand design and your own colors into it, and see what you can come up with. But that's our little spiel on conversion rate and design and stuff today. I want to open it up to some questions if anyone has any. I see Jessica's raised her hand. Jessica, do you feel comfortable coming up to talk, or you just want to drop it in the chat? Let me see if I can. Hey, I've just allowed you to talk if you wanted to, if you still had a question. All right, well, let's know when you're ready, if you're ready. Did anyone else have anything? Let's go through a little bit of a chat stuff here. Can I have leads go to my other CRM, from Thomas? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can, depending on what you're using, you know, some people have the luxury presence websites, other people have Squarespace or wherever. You can look at Zapier, Zapier.com. It's a kind of middleman. If there's no direct integration to your CRM, you can use Brivity. Okay, I'm not too familiar with that or what they connect to, but if you go to Zapier.com and type in Brivity, you'll see if they're connected. And that it's a good way to set up kind of that automation. It's a good way to connect two different tools that don't talk to each other directly, and that's a good way to get leads into your CRM. Let's see what else we got. Google sign-on, is it a feature that's included in all plans, and how do we initiate this? Isabella, you want to take this one? I don't know. I think it's just a feature for everyone, right?
Yeah, it's a feature for everyone. And actually, if you guys want me to show you, I can bring my screen up here and I can show you just how you can implement that. Let's see here. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to log into your dashboard. You're going to navigate to your websites tab. I'm going to find the one we were just in here, and you're going to want to go into edit. Once you're in there, these three little buttons right next to your edit sign, you're going to go to site settings. And then on the top left here, right under lead capture, you're going to see Google sign on. And so that's why this is toggled on. And that's why we were able to see it when it was popping up. You can go ahead and turn it off if it's something also that you find is too busy and you don't want to. Like we said, we would definitely recommend it. It's an easy way to drive those leads, but you can turn it off. And then you're just going to go ahead and save. So I'm going to keep it on there. And I think I also saw another question in the chat about it popping up on every single page. And so it's interesting. I was showing you guys on Safari. On Safari, it does tend to pop up, and it's something that our platform doesn't control. But if you are in Chrome, it actually, if you click the X, we've noticed that it isn't going to pop up on every single page. So I think it just has to do with the browser that you're using, and it's independent of our platform.
Got it. Yeah, thanks for that. Jose, you've raised your hand. Do you feel comfortable coming up on stage? Just drop this allow to talk little button.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah.
Cool. I was just wondering, how do you do that last ditch effort for if they're exiting the site and then like it has that pop up?
Yeah, there's a setting. You know what I can do? I can send a I'll send you an email. Do you have a luxury presence website, or do you
I do.
use something else? Okay, perfect, great. I'll send you a little knowledge base article so you can see exactly where it is. It's kind of like it's tucked away a little bit in the settings, but it's a one-click toggle, easy to find.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I'll send that to you for sure. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I'll drop it. Yeah, of course, I'll add it to the email. I'll send a follow-up email with the recording and everything, and I'll drop some ways we can implement a lot of this stuff in there. What else we got? Alessandra, what has been the most successful way to get traffic to your website? Is there a specific content or ad that work better? You know, I'm gonna say depends. It's a cop out, but it's like one ad could work. If you've got two agents in the same market, one ad could do so well for that agent, and the other ad for the other agent, same ad, same copy, doesn't work. And that's a good example of how things just interact with each other, different brands and different websites, and just like the whole piece of the puzzle. There are a few ads that we've been testing as a company that have worked really well. One of them is a curated collection of homes. So how Isabella showed the forced registration for the listings, the reason why it's so effective on individual agents' websites versus like Zillow or something is because everyone knows you can go to Zillow. Like that's like 90% of the market. If people really wanted to get information on the house, they'll Google it, they'll find some ways to get information, and whatever they can find online, they'll try and find, right? But if they're going straight to the agent, the listing agent for the details, or they come down a funnel where they're looking for a collection of homes with a pool because they're looking for a pool or a big backyard or a home office, you've taken the time to curate that group of homes for them. Some of them might not even be on the market. So absolutely, you can put the forced registration up and be like, if you want details to this house, put in your information. Otherwise go to Zillow, to be honest, and have a look. And that funnel has worked well in our testing, for us and a lot of our clients. And if you wanted to, if your tool, if your luxury presence or another website allows you to do that, to curate those homes, create a campaign around it. So it's a good one. Right, let's see what else we got. How do you drive people to your website, to visit your website? Yeah, I mean, this is another thought process that I went through. My thinking was, if you have something of value, right, will people just come? Like, why go through all this hullabaloo of design and trying to up your conversion rate when if you have something, people will just give you their details? It doesn't really work like that either, unfortunately, online. And these conversion rates and design best practices and things like that are there to help guide the visitor. And if your website, if you have something of value and people don't know your websites exist, then that's an issue right there. So the best way to drive traffic really is to run some ads. Best bang for your buck is Facebook, Instagram. Just throw minimum $10 a day behind it. Just get some people looking at your website that way. And then the rest is all based on content and SEO and kind of just finding ways to get up the rankings in Google. SEO and ads run side by side. They usually complement each other. So do both and get some eyes on your website that way. But I would say if you want to get eyes on your website as soon as possible, as fast as possible, run some ads. Cheapest way is Facebook and Instagram. If you want to throw a bit more money behind it, try your hand at Google, and give that a go. The Google search campaigns. What else we got on here? When people fill out forms that include emails, this is from Melinda, do you have an email validity check that happens on the back end? Good question. I don't know. Do we have that, Isabella? Do you know?
Don't think we have email right now, but our team is or just released phone number validity, so that people can't make up those phone numbers. So it's something that we're actively looking into and working on.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, if we can do the validating at the platform level for the agents, even better. Yeah, we're constantly making improvements to all of this stuff, and as tech evolves, not just for us but for everyone, and the use of AI and all this sort of stuff, there's loads of cool things happening right now. Hopefully we can get those kind of updates over to you guys. What else have we got here? Jillian. In my area, print ads are still important for brand building. Great. Yeah, I love that. Been including QR codes to an article, buyer's guide, or something like that. Any key learnings? Oh yeah, cool. That's amazing. I love that. QR codes from print to a buyer's guide. That's great. That's fantastic. I mean, I wish more people would do stuff like that. Just the QR. Imagine. So for us, right, QR codes have worked. I used to do it when I was an agent in Malibu as well. And what worked for us was the big sort of QR codes in a window or something like that, or somewhere where, or we did it in coffee shops too. We just partnered up with a coffee shop, and we put them on like the cups and things. We put QR codes on. So I'm Malibu's right here. I live in a town called Camarillo, and it has a private jet airport, and we put QR code stickers all around the little waiting room for the private jets, because all the people come in and they have houses down the road here, big houses. They're all coming from Texas or whatever, and they've got a ton of money, and they're sitting around waiting for their jet, and they've got QR codes. And if you make it, mysterious almost, and you get people to, scan it and get taken to your landing page, then knowing if they're coming through the airport and they're going to a landing page, and you know that they've come from there, and that landing page is catered for that specific individual, you can have fun with it. You're likely to find somebody converting, especially if it's to do with luxury real estate or somewhere, where they're willing to kind of spend that money. But Jillian, are you open to coming up on and talking to us a little bit more about it, or you're not seeing any conversions? Hard for me to see where we can improve without seeing more on where the landing page or things like that. Here, let me see if I can get you to does it allow? Oh, here we go. Oops.
Okay, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
can hear you. There you go.
Great. Hi, Valley. Great to
Hi.
talk to you.
You too.
So, yeah, I used to be a journalist, so I thought this would make good sense to leverage my previous skills and just really try and build out content. But I don't see traffic well, no, I do see traffic coming to the site. I think I'm just posting things in my blog right now, so I'm not using what you talked about in your previous session about landing pages.
Mm.
So I think maybe that's something that I need to optimize a little bit, because I think I'm going to continue, like each month I run this big page ad and I try and create some new compelling, now next month it's going to be the top 3 easy ways to get your house ready for the market, things like that. But then I don't think I'm capitalizing on whatever traffic is coming in. I don't quite know what to do with them then. At this point, I'm just sort of still trying to build my credibility as a relatively new agent. But I'd love any key learnings you have in terms of what to do with that. I think it's not gelling, and I'm missing a few things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Gary Vee said it the best, I think. What's his book? Not punch or something, or punch, jab, jab, jab. No, I can't remember what it is, but the whole point was just keep providing value. Just give away everything, all your secrets, everything that you want to give away, give it away, and build that. Especially if you're kind of a newer agent, directing them to, if you know that they're new to your brand, meaning they haven't been experienced, they haven't seen your face around anywhere really that much, they haven't seen your website, your logo, or anything much about you, then all you have to really give is just value. And that's blogs, that's videos. Videos is probably going to be the best bang for your buck, to be honest. Sending them to like a YouTube video or something where you're talking to the camera, your face is there, and you're giving an opinion on something that they might be interested in. But the more you do that sort of stuff and create that machine around it, the more people will get used to seeing you. And there's a stat out there, something like 10 or 12 times they need to see you. You need to be able to 10 or 12 touch points before they even do anything about, like, pressing a button or calling you. So if people aren't converting, that's generally because they just don't want to. They just either don't feel comfortable, there's not enough trust there, or there's not enough credibility there, and so we have to build it. And just send them to places like if your funnel is basically right now QR code to a landing page and they're not converting, I would try a different thing. Try maybe sending to a blog first, where they're kind of further up the funnel. They're not as warm
Right,
to
that's
kind
what
of give
I'm
you the
doing right now.
information. Oh,
Yeah,
perfect.
right
Yeah.
now it is. Yeah, so I'm not actually aggressively trying to convert them,
Mhm.
but you still see value, do you, in the brand development, to actually just keep producing the content?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, so then just a last quick follow-up on, you mentioned video, and I enjoy video. If I'm using video on the website, you mentioned YouTube, do I then lose them into sort of the YouTube world? Yeah.
Good question. You don't. There's a way you can. So it's with our websites and most likely others too. You can embed the video directly into the website. So with us, I think it just comes up as a pop up, as like a light box almost. So they're
Okay.
not actually leaving your site. The video will pop up. They can click play and they can carry on going. Yeah, that's the way I'd recommend it. If they click on a YouTube video on your site and then they get sent to YouTube, then yeah, they're more likely to kind of start going down that YouTube rabbit hole and miss your website that way. But as a
And will
pop-up, as a
the
light box, yeah.
will the Luxury Presence Service Center be able to help me figure out how to do that? That is something that's self-service. I don't have to get professional help.
No,
to-
not at all. Not at
Okay.
all. Yeah, we can help. Send us a message on our support team, or the little button that comes up in your dashboard. But easy peasy. You just it just comes up as a light box. I think it's just literally even adding the link. You don't have to add any embed codes or anything. You can just add the link and it'll organize it that way.
I can
Our
pop
support
my
team will
my
help you kind
screen
of.
up here really quick too, Jillian, and I can show you. It's super simple.
Okay.
Let me
And then I
share
just
you.
wanted to say thanks to Melissa in the chat box for putting in the name of the book. I appreciate that.
Jab, right hook. There you go. I knew I had it. Something like that.
Awesome. So here, this is our featured video. So there are a few different elements or sections you can use that you'll pull from our element library just by clicking that plus sign. Here we have our featured video with social. And so you have this field right here that's a link. I just went to our Luxury Presence YouTube and pulled one of our recent videos, and we'll just paste it really right in there, Command V, and then I'll go ahead and click save. And then if we go and we refresh the home page, let's hope that it kind of has rendered. Scroll down to this video section, and then it will pop up right here.
Love it.
Let's like pause just so that it doesn't keep playing for you guys, but that's exactly how you do it. They can click out, they can share the video as well. But that's how simple it is.
Great. Okay, thank you.
Cool. All right, guys, I know we're at time, or 3 minutes over, and we haven't got to a bunch of these questions. So what I'll do is I'll have my team kind of go through the chat and we'll kind of send you guys an email individually. And also I'm going to follow up with an email anyway, probably like a day or so, with the recording and kind of any other resources I can find on how to implement some of this stuff on the site. Feel free to reply back to that too. It would come straight to me. I'll reply back to each person individually. But thanks for joining us today. Another fun one. Thanks, Isabella, for your time and your insight and your brains. Yeah. See you. I'm going to be gone for a few weeks, by the way, for 10 weeks on paternity leave, daddy daycare round 2. So there might be a different face on these things for the next 2 or 3 sessions, but looking forward to jumping back in October and seeing you guys again. All right, guys, have a good rest of your day, and see you in the next one. Bye.
The sun is coming slowly. I hold these moments